Through reading the stories and events recorded in the Bible, we come to know that God is passionate. His mood is not flat or dry. The book of Genesis tells us that He made us in His image too, so like Him, we are emotional beings. The subject of emotional intelligence is getting a lot of attention right now. Professionals across the fields of education, business, and psychology all agree that emotional intelligence is pivotal to how well people do in life. This includes their success at work, in their relationships, and in their personal health and well-being. As Christians, it's important to consider, why did God design us the way that He did? Why did He bother to give us the ability to feel emotion? After all, they can be confusing and a challenge to manage. If you ask some people, they'll tell you that emotions are annoying and useless. If you ask other people, they'll tell you that emotions are what make life interesting. They're the spice of life.
Whether you're currently a fan of emotion or not, we'd like to show you some of what we believe are God's purposes in giving us the ability to feel emotion. Our feelings can serve many roles. They can educate us about what's going on in our lives, what's happening with the people around us, and what's occurring within ourselves. They can cause us to slow down and take notice of problems so that we can solve them. Also, emotions can energize us to act quickly and remedy a situation. They are great at focusing our attention onto what we need and then propelling us to meet those needs. If we let our feelings serve the role God intended, we'll gain substantial benefits.
After all, every kind of feeling has a purpose. Let's look at a few of the emotions we discuss in our book, The Rest of Health. As we describe the purpose and roles of each emotion, we'd like you to determine for yourself whether you make use of the emotion the way that God intended or if you avoid it. The first emotion we'll look at is joy. The Bible tells us that joy and laughter renew our soul. Joy can inform us of what's most important to us in life. We discover this because as the things we value become satisfied, we are filled with joy. It may seem strange to avoid joy, but some people do. One reason for this is because they can be superstitious. They worry that if they let themselves feel happy, a bad turn of events may suddenly follow. So they guard themselves. They try to protect themselves against disappointment by never letting themselves get excited. Avoiding joy like this leads to cynicism and fatigue. We don't celebrate the good in life, and so we miss out on the joy renewing our soul.
The purpose of fear is that it informs us to get prepared and to make changes for the future and to avoid danger. So the effects of avoiding fear is that we're often left ill-prepared or unequipped. It's like a student who is afraid of failing an exam and then he doesn't respond appropriately to that fear by studying. So he or she will remain unprepared and afraid of failure. Fear is also a cue to actively put faith in God and not just rely on ourselves. If we don't take this cue to turn to God in faith, then chronic anxiety follows because we're left trusting in our limited selves.
Sadness is very useful. It tells us that our core needs are not being met. Some of our core needs are to be known, accepted, and valued. When we're not experiencing these, we become sad. Our sadness tells us to keep searching for what we need. It's the voice of longing in our heart. If we avoid sad feelings, we end up settling for less than satisfactory, less than God's good plans for us. We may not even stop to realize what we're missing. Hearing these ideas, do you think you tend to use your sadness for its intended purpose, to ensure your needs are met, or do you generally avoid it?
Emotions are powerful and practical. God's intent is for us to use them wisely to greatly help us in our lives. They can assist us to bring understanding, direction, and motivation, and it takes courage sometimes to use them as they were intended. If you're willing, ask God for the courage to step up to the plate, and He'll be ecstatic to assist you.